Hello everyone. Welcome to the 10th video of economic lecture series. I'm Dr. Arjun Bopanna of Bangalore IAS Academy, and this video is brought to you by Mentors for IAS and Namak KPSC Academy. So in today's video, we will be discussing about subsidies. Subsidies is a type of revenue expenditure. In this video, we will be discussing the following topics. What is subsidy? What are the different categories of subsidies? We basically classify subsidies into merit subsidies and non-merit subsidies. Let's try to understand what it is. The reason we classify this into merit and non-merit subsidies is because, as the name itself suggests, non-merit subsidies are not good. So the objective is to reduce or entirely eliminate non-merit subsidies. So first we have to know what is this non-merit subsidies. Then we will also try to understand why do we need to give subsidies, or why the government gives subsidies. What are the challenges of the subsidies and problems associated with subsidies, and finally the reforms that is being introduced in the subsidies in order to make it much more effective. See, in this particular topic, this is important from both prelims as well as mains point of view, so please concentrate on understanding the particular topic rather than understanding only the facts. Now, what do you know about subsidies? See, we as individuals receive subsidies from the government, various types of subsidies. See, for example, if you're getting electricity in your house, they may not be actual price what is costing the government. The government is giving you electricity at subsidized price. So that's an example. Okay, similarly, if you say you have done higher education, the actual cost of it might be more, but you might have got subsidized seat. Similarly, the vaccination that children get, they are also subsidized. The food security, under the Food Security Act, the rice, wheat, etc., the people from below poverty line gets, they are also subsidies. So like this, all of us are aware that there are different types of subsidies that we and people as a whole get from the government. Now, what is this subsidies? See, subsidies is nothing but grants. Okay, they are nothing but grants or aid or support, okay, that citizens or people or companies, etc. So they are nothing but grants, aid or support, either in the form of cash or in the form of kind. I'll explain you what it is. Okay, cash or kind, generally given by the government in order to promote economic and certain social objective. In simple term, this is what it is. It's a grant or an aid or a support that is given by the government in the form of cash or kind. See, kind, for example, okay, you might be getting free or cheap electricity. The farmers might be getting free electricity. Okay, the farmer might be getting cheap urea. So this is an example of kind, okay, subsidies. For what purpose is this given? For economic and social objective. This is what is known as subsidy. There are several definitions. Don't worry about the definition. Try to understand it and make your own definition. In other words, another definition is a subsidy is an incentive in the form of financial aid or support extended to an economic sector, let's say farming or MSME sector, etc., to an economic sector, generally with the aim of promoting economic and social policy. So we generally use this word subsidy, okay, to government, but subsidy can also be related to any other type of support given to people, for example NGOs or something else. So that also can be subsidy, but in our discussion we will just focus on the aid given by the government. So I hope this is clear. This is what is subsidy. Now, coming to the categories of subsidies. As I told you, there are two types of subsidy, merit and non-merit. Please understand, the classification is based on the benefit the subsidy is having on the society. Okay, what benefit it is having on the society. That means if it benefits the society more than the individual for whom the subsidy is given, then it is known as merit subsidy. But on the other hand, if the individual benefit more than the society, then it is known as non-merit subsidy. Now let's take an example. Let's say vaccination. So subsidized vaccines are given for children. Okay, let's take polio. So polio vaccines are given to children free of cost. So that is nothing but subsidy. Subsidized vaccines are given to children. Okay, so here who is getting the benefit? It is the individual who is getting the benefit. Now I told you that if it benefits society more than individual, it is merit. So this vaccination is actually a merit subsidy. Why is it a merit subsidy? Though the benefit is given to the individual, it is benefiting the society. How is it benefiting the society? Now let's try to understand that. See, when the vaccine is given to the individual does not suffer from polio. So therefore, he will not transfer the polio to others because polio is a communicable disease. So if he was suffering, then he would have transferred it to others. If he would have transferred it to others, the health of others would have deteriorated. That means the society's health would have deteriorated. Further, if the individual suffers from polio, he becomes a burden because he will suffer from disability. So he becomes a burden on the society. Then there is going to be increased pressure on the healthcare system. All of this will add more cost to the society. So a small drop of polio vaccine has saved a lot of money for the society. So therefore, vaccination given to individual children is actually benefiting the society. How is it benefiting the society? Better health. So you don't have to spend much on healthcare. Okay, a much more healthier individuals, healthier children who will become more productive in the future and contribute to the society. So giving vaccination to children has actually benefited the society more. So this is an example of merit subsidy. So what is merit subsidy? A merit subsidy is a subsidy which benefits the society more than the individual. Let's take another example. Farm loan waiver. You might have heard any government that comes to power, especially at the state, what do? The first thing that they do is they waive off the farm loans. Now you might be thinking that it is good, the government is doing good for poor farmers, etc. Now let's try to analyze this only from the academic point of view, not from political point of view. Okay. Now farm loan waivers. Now this farm loan waiver is basically when farmers have taken a loan from formal financial institution, the government, when it declares farm loan waiver, the farmers don't have to pay it, but rather the government pays on behalf of the farmers to the banks or other financial institution. This is farm loan waiver. It is done with the objective that farmers either might be facing a lot of economic distress because of low productivity, drought, etc. So it is acceptable that yes, during this stressful conditions, the farmer should be given some kind of benefits. But if you try to go in depth and analyze the farm loan waiver, you'll realize that most of these farm loan waivers are benefiting the rich and middle class farmers. Rich and middle class farmers. Why rich and middle class farmers? Because they are the ones who go to the banks and other financial institutions like cooperative societies or regional rural banks, and they are the ones who are able to get these farm loans. Whereas the poor farmers, okay, they might not have land pattas, or it might already be pledged to get loan, or they might not have land, or the tenants, okay, who have taken land on lease, which may not be in a formal contract. So the tenants, since it is not a legal contract, they might not be able to get loan from the financial institutions, or if you take laborers, etc. So these people, they are not able to get loan from formal financial institution. Who do they go to? They go to the money lenders. They go to the traditional money lenders, get loan, but at a very high cost, because money lenders want to make profit. Whereas the rich and middle farmers, they are able to control these financial institutions, especially the cooperative banks. They are controlled by these dominant caste farmers, and they are able to get loan at a very cheap rate. And then because they come from the politically strong groups, they are able to influence the political power and get these loans waived off. Whereas the poor farmers, tenants, and the laborers, they are not able to get the benefit of loan waiver, and hence this whole idea of loan waiver does not benefit the marginalized section. and they are the ones who will then commit suicide in the name of them, I mean in their name. Okay, the rich and middle class farmers will demand for more farm loan waiver. So here who is it benefiting? The rich and middle class, they can afford loans at the market rate. But in order to subsidize them, the government is trying to pump in more money towards their pocket. Okay, so therefore, it is benefiting individuals and not the society. And therefore, farm loan waiver is a type of non-merit subsidy. Please don't go into the controversial aspect of it. Just understand it from the economic point of view. Instead of giving farm loan waivers, okay, what needs to be done is improving the efficiency of farming sector, like providing more irrigation, providing warehouse facilities, providing agriculture processing, marketing facilities, etc. So this is what needs to be done rather than focusing on farm loan waiver. So there are many types of subsidies which can be grouped into merit and non-merit. So when you have to do so, you have to look whether it benefits the society or whether it benefits individuals. If it benefits individual more than the society, then it is a non-merit subsidy. If it benefits the society more than the individual, then it is a merit subsidy. Now let's have a look at the definitions. Merit goods and subsidies. So examples are polio vaccination, primary education, forest plantation. Let's say forest plantation, the government is giving seedlings or is giving plants at 10 rupees. Okay, the idea is the individual is getting this, okay, whereas the benefit is for the society. Greener, greener environmentally, and it increases the environment, forest cover, etc. Roads, bridges, R&D on agro, space technology, public health, renewable energy. All these are benefiting the society more than the individual. Now let's say for solar powers, okay, the government gives subsidy. Though individual is getting the benefit, how is the society benefiting? You are reducing the fossil fuel usage, you're reducing the import of fossil fuel, you're reducing pollution. So a cleaner environment, okay, it is benefiting the society. So therefore renewable energy, though benefit is going to the individual, but ultimately the benefit is to the entire society. So by definition, merit goods and subsidies are those which has positive externalities. That means it benefits the society more than the individual. Okay? See, you can just pause the slide and read the more details about it. Similarly, non-merit subsidies are those subsidies, okay, which is having negative externalities. That means the society pays and the individual benefits for that. Okay, let's say for example diesel subsidies. Okay, so Jeeps and SUVs earlier used to get these subsidies. It used to cause more pollution. Okay, these diesel used to be used by SUVs and Jeeps, etc., which were owned by rich people. So therefore it was considered to be non-merit subsidy, and now we have removed this type of subsidy. Similarly, excessive use of diesel pump set led to groundwater depletion. Another example is fertilizer subsidies like urea. Okay, the government gives urea subsidy. So what is happening? Farmers are using excessive amount of urea. This is depleting the soil fertility. It is also leading to water pollution and eutrophication. And therefore, though the benefit is going to the individual, the society is paying for those, okay, in terms of pollution, in terms of reduced soil fertility, inefficiency, etc. So therefore, non-merit subsidies are those which is having a cascading effect. Now all this is clear, merit and non-merit subsidy. And then there are some other goods which are given by the government, like free of cost. Now let's say roads. Okay, so you have roads, okay, which is paved by the government, which is maintained by the government, etc. Okay, it is not, you don't have to pay any charges. It is free of cost. Okay, so this kind of goods which cannot be monetized. Okay, road cannot be monetized all the way. I'm not talking about the highways. I'm talking about the regular road in front of your house. They cannot be monetized. So such goods are called as public goods. So what is public goods? Services given to everyone, whether it is rich or poor, like police, road, defense, judiciary, etc. Any money spent on these public goods cannot be counted as subsidy because these are essential service and hence they are called as public goods. Now in your comment section, please give me some examples of merit and non-merit subsidies. I will correct them if there is any mistakes. Okay, take into consideration electricity subsidies, take into consideration a railway ticket. Okay, it is also subsidized. So whether it is merit or non-merit, LPG cylinders that you get, merit or non-merit. Okay, higher education, is it merit or non-merit? So like that, please in your comment section, give me some examples. Next, why do we need subsidies? What is the main purpose of giving subsidies? The main purpose of giving subsidy is two things. One, for social reasons, that is for benefiting the poor. And the other one is economic, that means to promote certain private sector. Now let's try to understand this whole idea. So there are poor people and they are not able to have access to basic necessities. So subsidies will help make basic necessities affordable to the poor, like basic food, healthcare, education. It may not be affordable to the poor. So subsidized goods thereby will help them to meet their basic necessities. So that is one of the major objective of giving subsidies. The other reason is economic reasons. So to promote various economic activities, government gives subsidy. A simple example is a private company may be given subsidy by the government in order to open industries. Subsidy in the form of land, subsidy in the form of tax rebate, subsidy in the form of subsidized loans. Okay, in the form of subsidized loans. So these are given to private entities in order to invest in certain areas, backward areas, etc. is an example. So here the economic activity will be promoted by the government by offering them subsidies, either directly or indirectly. You might have heard about it. Another example is farmers. Okay, so farmers are given MSP, they are given free electricity, they are given cheap loan. Okay, they are given seed subsidies. All these are given in order to help the farmers improve their efficiency, increase the productivity of agriculture, and thereby benefit the economy as a whole. Take green revolution, for example. Take white revolution or milk revolution, for example. In all these cases, the government offered subsidies in order to promote the economic activity in that particular sector. Industries, government are giving subsidies to promote industrial activities. In terms of infrastructure, government is giving subsidies to promote infrastructure. So this is the two objectives, social goal and economic objectives. Okay. So next we will come to the problems associated with subsidies. So we have understood what is subsidies, why subsidies. Now the problems associated with subsidies and why this calls for reforms. The problems associated with subsidies: one, it is increasing our financial burden. Government is spending more money on subsidies. And what kind of expenditure is subsidy? It is a revenue expenditure, and revenue expenditure does not create asset. So therefore it is increasing the financial burden of the government. It is unproductive expenditure because it's a revenue expenditure. The government spends that money, it is gone forever. Then it is leading to a lot of political corruption, like for example loan waivers. So economically it does not make sense, but politically it is it's a very good strategy. So therefore it is leading to political corruption. Then it is leading to economic cost. That means it is disastrous to non-subsidized sector. Now let's say there is a sector A, there is a sector B. If government is offering subsidies to sector A, there will be more economic activity in A. The government will not be supporting this sector B, which will suffer. A very simple example, let's take MSP, minimum support price. Okay, where the government will fix a minimum price. Okay, if the prices of that product falls below this, the government will procure it. This is offered to the farmers. Okay, now let's say rice. The government says we will buy it, okay, at let's say 20 rupees per kg. If the market value falls below 20 rupees, the government will buy it from the farmers at 20 rupees. So the farmers will get assured price. So this is a objective of MSP. About MSP we will discuss later. Okay, so MSP is that. So government offers MSP for 22 crops. So farmers will grow only these 22 crops because they are going to get assured price. Others are risky. So what will happen? Other crops will suffer. Those crops which is not getting MSP will suffer. That's an example of this. So it is disastrous to non-subsidized sector. Further, there is no incentive to save because you are getting subsidies. Now, urea is 5 rupees per kg. So there's no incentive for the farmers to save it. They excessively use it, which is leading to pollution, which is leading to, which is affecting the soil fertility. Similarly, just take for example in your house, electricity is very cheap in India because it is subsidized by the government. Now, there is no incentive for you to save because anyways it is very cheap. Imagine if you have to pay market price, it becomes very expensive. So you will go and switch off the lights whenever you are not there. It will lead to lot of savings. Okay, so there is no incentive for you to save because it is subsidized. Growth may get affected because you are excessively spending money on revenue expenditure. It may lead to inflation because there is increased consumption. Because of subsidies, people will start spending more, and this will lead to inflation. It may lead to corruption. Okay, like let's say food security. Okay, where rice etc. is given through public distribution, PDS, public distribution system. So there is a lot of corruption that is involved in public distribution system. Fake beneficiaries are created. The rice that the government allocates, that is diverted, and poor quality rice is given through this food public distribution system, etc. Mistargeting, like we discussed earlier about the loan. The rich and the middle class farmers benefit from loan waiver, whereas the poor marginalized farmers, they don't get this benefit. So these are some of the problems associated with subsidy. So having understood the problems associated with the subsidy regime, we need to bring about reforms. So let's try to discuss some reforms that have been introduced to make it more effective. So the idea behind reforms is reducing the overall scale of subsidies. So what we want to do is reduce the number of subsidies, especially the non-merit subsidies. A simple example is earlier we used to get diesel subsidies, but now it is not there. It has been removed because it is non-merit subsidy. LPG also, if you recollect, we used to get unlimited LPG cylinders, but now LPG cylinders is fixed. The number of cylinders that you are going to get is fixed. Then making subsidies as transparent as possible. Beneficiaries, etc. should be more transparently identified. Using subsidies for well-defined economic objectives. Okay, for what we need to achieve. Like for example, Food Security Act. It is good because you are giving subsidies to your poor people below poverty line, etc. Then focusing on subsidies on final goods and services with view to maximize their impact on the target population at minimal cost. This is, if for you to understand, let's say fertilizer subsidy. Presently, the fertilizer subsidies are given to the companies, okay, fertilizer companies, and not to the farmers. The farmers buy directly from the fertilizer companies, and since they are so this is actually leading to a lot of problem. When you read urea subsidies, you will be able to appreciate it much better. So instead of giving subsidies to the companies, you give subsidies directly to the transfer the money directly to the farmers bank account. They will be able to buy the subsidies whatever is the cost in the market. So this will help reform the fertilizer subsidies. Next, instituting a system where you periodically review the subsidy regime and see whether you need it, if at all, if any changes is required, etc. It should be inbuilt mechanism. It should be a continuous process. One of the major reforms that the government has introduced is direct benefit transfer. So here what the government is doing is government will transfer directly the subsidy amount to the bank account of the beneficiaries. So it will eliminate all the middlemen. Directly money is going into the bank account. So Jan Dhan accounts are open to beneficiaries. Money will directly be transferred to the bank accounts, and they can use this money for whatever purpose it is meant for, or any other purpose, for example. Okay, another example is this Pahal scheme. This is with respect to LPG. Read more about it, you will understand. Jan Dhan, Aadhaar and Mobile Trinity. This concept has been introduced to make it much more transparent, to make direct benefit easier, etc. Now, before we end this particular topic, we'll also discuss about this DBT, direct benefit transfer. So what is this direct benefit transfer? Direct benefit transfer is when the subsidy amount is directly transferred to the bank account of the beneficiaries. So the idea of direct benefit transfer is it will lead to a lot of savings because it will eliminate middlemen. It will eliminate the government providing this particular service or product. They can directly go and buy it from the open market, etc. It will reduce wastage, reduce corruption, eliminate intermediaries, reduce inflation because it will check the demand. Then it will lead to empowerment of the beneficiary. They don't have to be at the mercy of public distribution system officers, etc. Money directly automatically every month will come to their bank account. They don't have to go and beg or ask anybody else. It will facilitate further reforms because you will be able to target the beneficiaries, and therefore be able to bring about any kind of socio-economic reforms. And it will give more choices because money is coming directly to their bank account. They'll be able to make more choices, okay, and buy whatever produce from wherever they want. But DBT also has certain disadvantage. One of the major disadvantage is unless a beneficiary has a bank account, this system will not work. And if you are aware, the poorest, the most marginalized section of the people, they are still not part of the formal banking system. That means they don't have a basic banking account. The poorest of the poor, they don't have a bank account even today. So there is lack of 100% financial inclusion. That means they're still not part of the formal financial system. They might not have Aadhaar card, or they might not have any account, or there is no bank in their village. So to get access to the banks or access to the money that is transferred to their bank account, they might have to travel 2-3 kilometers away from their hometown, village, every day or every time they want that money. So this leads to a lot of problems. So most of the BPL families still don't have bank account, and several villages still don't have bank branches. This is a major problem. Unless we do this, we cannot make it universal. Then migrants, their identification is difficult. Aadhaar linkage for better targeting is still not there. Now you are telling that we will transfer cash. Okay, cash has also certain limitation. You transfer money to the bank accounts, that has its own problems. Now let's see what problems they have. Now the PDS supplies ration at a constant price, whereas the cash that is given is not inflationary proof. Okay, so the cash is not inflationary proof. Now let's try to understand what do you mean by this. Cash is not inflationary proof. Now let's say the beneficiary are getting 5 kg of rice. Let's say the cost of rice is 20 rupees today. Okay, so they are getting roughly how much? 100 rupees worth of rice. So the government decides, instead of giving 5 kg of rice, we will transfer that money through DBT to their bank account. So government will decide to transfer how much? 100 rupees to the bank account. It is good, no doubt. The problem arises when there is an inflation. Let's say tomorrow, okay, there is inflation and the cost of rice is now 25 rupees instead of 20 rupees. So still the beneficiaries are getting only 100 rupees. So now they are able to buy how much? They are able to buy 4 kg of rice. Earlier they used to get 5 kg. Now they are going to get 4 kg. Because of inflation, the value of rupee has come down. They are getting 100 rupees, but today the value of rupee is less. They are still getting they are getting only 4 kg instead of 5 kg. That is the meaning of this. So PDS used to give them rice at constant price. It used to shield them against inflation. Cash does not have that benefit. Further, there will be vagaries in the market related to negotiation. The government may fix it at 20 rupees per kg, but it might not be 20 rupees in your village. It may be more. So therefore, it is vagaries of market related things are there. Then actual utilization of the fund. The fund may be used for something else. It may be used for alcohol. It may be used for giving dowry, etc. So actual utilization for fund will be questioned. Over here they used to get rice, therefore their nutrition used to be higher. Here what is happening, instead of using it for rice, they're buying some other commercial goods, etc. So this are some of this is one of the problem associated with cash transfer. Here is an article, okay, in the news that had come, that because they did not have a Aadhaar linked ration card, girl dies because of starvation. They could not get rice because it was not linked with the Aadhaar card, the ration card. So such kind of incident shows that we need to be very careful in bringing about reforms. What happens is, in this reform, the most marginalized section of the people of the society gets left away. So whenever we reform, all provisions has to be, all safeguards has to be taken into consideration. So these are some of the topics related to subsidies. Now let's try to solve some questions of what we have discussed in this particular video. The first question is with respect to reference to subsidies in India. Which among the following is non-merit subsidy? What is non-merit? Which benefits the individual more than the society. The society pays, okay, for the cost of the subsidy. Okay, food subsidy, fertilizer subsidy, subsidy on elementary education, subsidy on rural infrastructure. So this particular topic is a little bit confusing. Okay, so here we will try to eliminate the option and then get the answer. So what is very simple, easier to understand? Let's say subsidy on elementary education, that is primary school. Who benefits from this? The poorest people benefit from this. Okay, the education level increases, so society as a whole benefits. So this is a merit subsidy, so therefore it is a wrong option. So let's rule out option 3. So option 3 is here, option 3 is here, we have ruled out. Okay, next is subsidy in rural infrastructure. So rural infrastructure leads to economic activity, okay, and therefore it benefits the society more, right? So therefore it is also a merit subsidy, and therefore this is not a correct option. So you have ruled out and you have got the answer. So the answer is food subsidy is non-merit subsidy. Why it is a non-merit subsidy is because there's a lot of pilferage, corruption, intermediaries involved in food subsidies, MSP, etc. is being misused. So therefore it's a non-merit subsidy. And fertilizer subsidy, as I already told you, it is causing pollution, it is affecting the soil fertility, etc. So therefore it is also non-merit subsidy. In this type of questions, when you are having little bit doubt, always try to rule out the option one sentence after the other. Okay, yeah, so this is the explanation. You can read it. In your mains also, you can expect questions related to subsidies. So something like this: in what way could replacement of price subsidy with direct benefit transfer change the scenario of subsidy in India? Discuss. So here the question is in what way, okay, it is going to benefit, and the question key here is discuss. So in this type of question, you should be able to appreciate the advantages of DBT. Since it's a discuss type of question, you should also give the other point of view that there are some challenges associated with DBT, and you can conclude by giving some suggestions relating to how these problems associated with DBT can be addressed. So with this, we will end the video on subsidies. I hope this was useful. If you like it, please share it, and don't forget to subscribe this channel. Thank you. Have a good day.